What's up, I guess you would say wrestling and entertainment fans? Joe White here. I drug out the old webcam for this, it's a big occasion. And the big occasion, of course, is Anthem Entertainment, or Alpha Entertainment, excuse me, has too many A's in wrestling. Alpha, Anthem, whatever the case may be. Alpha Entertainment, which is owned by Vince McMahon, is holding a press conference today at 3 p.m. Eastern. And we are going to give you the live reactions here. Come and chat with me here in the chat room. I will tell you guys also as well, you can follow me here on Twitter at Joe Pillow to Post, and also hit that subscribe button down below. You'll be notified whenever we go live. All right, thank you, Mal5 Jones, for following me there on Twitch. I greatly appreciate that. And or Mouse Jones, excuse me. I forget that. I forget that every time. I'm so sorry. I'm horrible with names, guys. I really am horrible with names. Mouse Jones, XFL. That's right. That's right. Folks, a little bit of backstory here, if we can. They went live with this picture earlier today. Let me see if I can find this picture. I think I have it. They did, before the stream started, they did like a little pre-stream, giving you like a preview of the set, and this is what we got. Let me see if I can find it here. There it is. That is the XFL set that they're using today for the press conference, and they have the head on a stick. Of course, that's for lining up the camera and everything like that. A lot of people saying Al Snow is going to be the XFL commissioner. As you can see, no new logo. It's red and blue and white. No black and red. The rumor is Vince McMahon has purchased this stuff. Well, it's no rumor. He did purchase this with his own money. He the webcam went away. It's not the one that I wanted to make go away. Hold on here. See, now I got to redo this. Damn OBS. Anyway, so basically what happened was, Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, wait till Vince McMahon announces he's not relaunching the XFL but Flow Slam. That would be fucking crazy. So basically what happened is, about a month or two ago, Vince McMahon sold off a bunch of stock, and he took the money that he got from that stock and he separated it from the WWE, and he formed Alpha Entertainment, which is a new company. Their offices are nowhere near the WWE offices, even though they're using the WWE. It's obvious from that picture I showed. They're using the WWE's production studio to do this press conference in. Right now, that's what the screen looks like right here for the. I'm watching it on YouTube. Let's see how many people are watching this press conference here. About 3,000 people right now on YouTube alone are watching it. But it's set to kick off here in about 10 minutes. What is everybody's reaction to this? Twitter has been busting a gut all day at this. If you go to the major media sites like ESPN.com, they did do a piece on it, but it's not on their main page. It popped up on Yahoo for me on their main page, but that's because I sign in and they do tailored news stories for me. So it appeared on the main page of Yahoo for me. It's all over Twitter today. Everybody's making fun of it. Everybody's sitting there saying, oh, it's going to be a joke again. I do find it funny how this picture on this Alpha Entertainment thing looks more like a soccer stadium than a football stadium. With those lights beaming down like that. It looks like something you'd see over in the UK as a soccer stadium. But this is just a random graphic they have, of course. I will say that at 3 o'clock, my kids get home from school. So if you hear me turning the microphone off and leaning off camera like this and yelling, that's because I'm yelling at my kids upstairs and I'm recording when they come in. So what's your predictions for this? Let us know in the chat room here. What is your prediction for the XFL? Are they going to call it the Extreme Football League, or is it just going to be called XFL? What, if anything, Mouse Jones says the XFL was ahead of its time in the age of social media if they do things like StatCast, but for football they could be big. Yeah, I will say I liked the XFL. I'm not an NFL fan. I don't get it. I don't get the hype behind the NFL. I'll put it to you this way. I tried to watch football this year. I was like, all right, I'll bend into the hype and try to watch the NFL. And I got to week 2. And when I got to week 2, I turned on the Fox pregame show, and they spent an hour and a half of it talking about who's kneeling, who's not doing that for the national anthem. They didn't talk one word about football. For an hour and a half of a 2-hour pregame show, they didn't talk football. And that's what turned me off. I was like, okay, that's it. It's not about the game anymore. Who kneels, who doesn't kneel, who shows up for the anthem, who doesn't show up for the anthem? What does that have to do with football? And your ability to play the game or not play the game? Nothing. 6 teams in February 2020 starting date is what I'm expecting. I'll go one better. I'll go 8 teams. Because I'll go 8 teams, and I'll say that it's going to be right after the Super Bowl. I'm talking the week after I'll say 2 weeks after the Super Bowl is when they're going to go with this. And it'll be a short season. It's not going to be 16 weeks. I look for it to be maybe a 10-week season. It'll be 12 weeks, including the playoffs and the big game and everything. Will it be pay to play like last time? That's another thing people are wondering. Is this going to be pay to play? Are they going to have the no fair catch rule? Are they going to have the championship the scramble that they had at the beginning of the game in order to see who got possession, which caused more injuries than anything else? That all remains to be seen. Here's what I'm looking at for the press conference today. We're lucky if we get a 10-minute press conference. No members of the press are actually going to be there. I guarantee you this is just going to be a song and dance from them. He's going to come out and say, ladies and gentlemen, goddamn, we have a goddamn pal. We're launching the XFL, and here's what we plan to do. I doubt we even know how many teams and everything. I doubt we get a start date. We'll get 2020, which is what everybody's been speculating. But as far as teams, players, coaches, it's going to be well into the end of next year before we even get whispers of that. There's a lot of work that goes into putting this together. And I'll give McMahon credit, as we got about 7 minutes before this press conference begins. I'll give McMahon credit in that he's probably taking 2 years to take his time with it. He had to announce it now. If he didn't announce it before the end of January, it'd just be like, okay, well, it doesn't leave you with a lot of time. But the fact that he's coming right out of the gate with it, 2018, I think he'll have enough time to put it together. Do I think we'll see the silly gaga that they did the last time? No. Do I think that we'll have the cheerleaders and the going into the cheerleaders' locker room and all this? I look at it this way. For his sake, he better hope not. Because it's going to be doomed to fail right off the bat if we get all those shenanigans. Got about 6 minutes here before this press conference starts. Let me know in the chat room what you're thinking about all this. I got to tell you guys, too, we've been coming up with funny names. I suggested the Puxatawny Phils out of Pennsylvania, because they got to have an animal. Florida, you got the senior citizens down there. Just call them the Centennials. Las Vegas just built a brand new football stadium out there, so I guarantee you Vince will do something with that stadium to do that. As far as what cities will get teams, who knows? I guarantee you they do something in Vegas. They'll probably do L.A., New York, New Jersey again. The New York, New Jersey Hitmen. I actually that was my team back during the XFL, the New York, New Jersey Hitmen, because you had that New York, New Jersey, 2 states get 1 team, haha. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, I don't expect it to be anything huge. Everybody says it's a huge announcement. Look, this is a teaser trailer. This is a teaser to the teaser that we're gonna get. He's gonna come out there. Good afternoon. Today we launched blah, 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 blah. We're bringing it back. And here's our timetable. We'll let you know more when we're ready to release it. And that's going to be it. McMahon, this is a private organization. I don't think this is a public here's another thing. This is not a publicly traded company like WWE is. I love how everybody uses that line when they've been publicly traded since 1999, over almost 20 years. But anyway, this is not publicly traded. McMahon can do what he wants to with it. He's the grand poobah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But like I said, I'm not expecting anything real long. I'm not expecting anything real huge. He's going to come out there, say we're relaunching. It's happening in 2020. We'll let you know more later. That's what this needs to be. It doesn't need to be anything big. It doesn't need to be anything huge. It's going to leave you wanting to know more, which is what it should be. Let me know in the chat room right now on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you guys for joining in. Let me know what you think here. As we get ready here, we're about 4 minutes away from this thing kicking off. If these things even start on time. See how much I got on YouTube watching here. They got 7,000 people watching, so they better not screw the pooch with this. Italio Balanos, thank you for tuning in. Hi, how are you, sir? Go ahead and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. We do more than just general entertainment like this here on the channel. We also cover pro wrestling news, specifically the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show, which takes place Wednesday nights, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the channel live. Had a good turnout last night. Thank you to all those who subscribed. We also cover entertainment news such as movies and TV and video games. If you go back through the channel, you'll find all kinds of good stuff that I've been doing lately. We're about 3 minutes away from this thing kicking off here. I'm hoping they start this on time. Like I said, I don't expect anything huge. They got 8,000 people watching now just on YouTube alone. If you go to the website, they just embedded the YouTube thing. So I'm looking forward to this. How 6 teams, February 20. I'm going to say, like I said, I'm going to say 10 teams. And let's hope he does this right. Does he get a bunch of people who have been ousted from the NFL lately? That's the thing. Who does he get for his players? Who does he get to play the game? How are they getting paid? They had that $1 million game where the leading team got $1 million to split among everybody. Last time they did this, man, it's been, the documentary, the 30 for 30 documentary, if you want to go back and watch that, I suggest that you do. 30 for 30 documentary was pretty telling as to how things went down and everything, and it was pretty much a cluster last time. So who knows what's going to happen this time? Who knows? Again, I'm not expecting anything huge out of this. I'm expecting them to come out there with their pomp and circumstance. They'll play a little video, and or maybe even play the video and go, we're making the comeback. I don't expect any shenanigans of where's my football or anything like that. I expect Vince McMahon to learn from his lessons. Vince McMahon, for all the flack we give him, he's not that, he's not stupid. He may be out of touch as far as pro wrestling goes, but he's not stupid. He does know how to put on a show. Some people have been speculating about, will this be arena football? I doubt it. I even said at the beginning, maybe he's going to purchase the Arena Football League and turn it into the XFL, because if it's one thing Vince knows how to do, he knows how to make an arena look good for television, and he knows how to pack an arena. Football stadium, maybe not. He does it about once a year. So who knows? We're less than a minute away from this thing starting here. When it starts here, I'll go silent and take you into the press conference, and you'll hear me react to it live as we see it. But I'm curious as to what's going to happen, guys. I woke up this morning. I didn't even know this was taking place. Mike Johnson broke the news last night about all this. It is now 3 o'clock Eastern, so they're already late. Joe, it's only 7 seconds. Nah, they're late. They could have at least taken us inside the thing. Hell, this thing's probably pre-recorded for all we know. They're probably doing this pre-recorded. It's gonna be like a Nintendo Direct. If you're familiar with how Nintendo does the announcements for their video games, everything's pre-recorded. Nothing's live anymore. So who knows what's going to happen here. Hopefully this thing will be starting soon. They're up to 14,000 people watching this thing on YouTube now, so they better break a leg here. Here we go. Oh, there it is. New logo, new colors.
This is the future. This is not the past. This is the future, and the future moves fast. This is quicker, simpler, rules, reform.
Oh, they got
this
the Gatorade guy to do the commercial.
Safer. This is football, reborn. This is gaming and fantasy. This is padded, roulette. Make a trade, make a team, make a move, make a bet.
They're doing their
this
fantasy
is fans
football.
above all. This is maximum action. Let's stall, more ball, fewer infractions. This begins in 2020. The future is near. More access, more everyone, more everything.
CFO
here.
Dollars probably did this.
This is
Yeah.
our moment, our story to tell. This is history begun. This is the XFL.
That's probably it. Watch that be it. Oh, nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon. There he is.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's press conference. The new XFL will kick off in 2020, and quite frankly, we're going to give the game of football back to fans. I'm sure everyone has a lot of questions for me, but I also have a lot of questions for you. In fact, we're going to ask a lot of questions and listen to players, coaches. We're going to listen to medical experts, technology executives, members of the media, and anyone else who understands and loves the game of football.
Way to read that
Most
prompter,
importantly,
Vince.
we're going to be listening to fans. So I would ask that, the question of what would you do if you could reimagine the game of professional football? Would you, for instance, eliminate halftime? Would you have fewer commercial breaks?
Fewer commercials, yes.
Would the game of football be faster? Would
Yes.
the rules be simpler? The new XFL will be fan-centric with all the things you like to see and less of the things you don't. And no doubt, a lot of innovations along the way. We will present a shorter, faster-paced, family-friendly, and easier to understand
Family-friendly,
game.
there's the key.
Don't get me wrong, it's still football, but it's professional football reimagined. Since we're launching in 2020, we have 2 years, which is plenty of time to really get it right. We intend to start conservatively with 8 teams, 40-man rosters,
8.
a 10-game regular season, and postseason featuring 2 semifinals, and of course,
I was
a championship game.
almost right about 12 games.
Now, what about the players? As you know, there's a wealth of talented players that we can draw from, but in the XFL, the quality of the human being is going to be as important as the quality of the player. Our approach to presenting games will be multi-platform, which will allow us to engage fans and customize the viewing experience in ways
In other words,
that
they're
were
going to
never
streaming
imaginable
service.
just a few years ago.
The XFL network,
You'll
streaming
be able to
now.
watch the XFL on big screens, mobile devices, and everything in between.
In other words, they don't have a network
Thank
deal
you again
yet.
for joining us. We appreciate your interest, and if you have any ideas, please send them along our way because we are listening. The new XFL will be it'll be a game that's reimagined. Reimagine the game of professional football. I'm sure you want to
My
get to some
kid's going to come
questions,
downstairs
so
and ruin this. Watch.
fire away.
As a reminder, it is *1 to ask any
Oh,
questions.
here we go. We're
We'll
going to
take
get
our first
questions.
question from Brian Fritz with Sporting News.
Vince, I guess the big question now is why do you believe now is the right time to bring back the XFL?
Oh, they bring him a chair.
Well, football is America's favorite sport. There's 7 months of no football on the gridiron, and there's 70 million fans. So why not now? Now is a perfect opportunity. And I've always wanted to bring it back.
And what do you think are the lessons that you learned from the first time that you did the XFL to what you'll do with the game now?
Well, I think the most important thing that we learned with the older XFL and now the new XFL is the quality of the play.
That's right.
Quite frankly, we only had a very short time in the past to put everything together. We have 2 years now to really get it right. It's the quality of the play.
I didn't expect them to take
We'll take
questions.
our next question from Joe Flint with the Wall Street Journal.
Hi,
The Wall Street Journal.
Vince, talk a little about your media plans. Will you be looking to put this, offer this as a package to the broadcast or cable networks, or for your own streaming service? What are you thinking there?
Well, again, as we reimagine the game, imagine as well the way that we distribute the game. I think it's important to consider the standard way of doing this. I think it's also important to consider new ways. So it's probably going to be a combination of any number of forms of presentation.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm still on. Have you had any initial talks with anyone?
No initial talks, not really. We just know there's interest there.
Okay.
So,
Take our
like I
next
said,
question from Brian Campbell with CBS Sports.
he has nothing really ironed
Hello,
out
Brian.
yet.
Vince, how will this announcement affect your day-to-day control of creative decisions in WWE?
It won't affect it at all.
So he's stretching himself
Will
thin
you
again.
be staying in the same role completely?
Yes, I'll continue to be the CEO and chairman of the board of WWE.
What type of opportunities do you see available similar to the XFL of 2001 for WWE talent, broadcasters, wrestlers to cross over between brands?
Thank you for asking. There will be no crossover whatsoever in terms of talent or anything like that from WWE to the new XFL.
Good.
We'll take our next question from Darren Ravel with ESPN.
Hello, Dan.
Vince, hey, how are you? I guess the question I have is what is your role as far as being out in front? Obviously, you had a presence in 2001. What will people see? What do you expect people to see of you during games and during your content?
Quite frankly, this may be the last you see of me in terms of being out front. I don't intend to be out in front. We're going to hire people who really know what they're doing, experienced executives
He doesn't need to be out there with
front.
it.
It won't be me.
He doesn't need to be out there with it.
Okay, thank you.
Take our next question from Chris Palmieri with Bloomberg News.
I take that to mean they're going to actually hire a commercial commissioner.
The controversy about bending knee and the rating slump that the NFL's had played a role in your thinking about launching this now?
Things about kneeling. Who cares?
I've always wanted to relaunch and had this plan for some time.
Who cares
who's
kneeling and who's
are you not doing it this time through the WWE?
Quite frankly, $100 million to start with is a little too rich for WWE as far as investment's concerned.
And we'll take our next question.
In other words,
Paul
he doesn't
Newberry
want to take money away from them. That war chest.
Hello, Paul.
Hey, Vince. Hi. I assume this will be sort of the same time frame you mentioned out of season. I assume a spring league with a similar time frame as the original XFL.
Well, it won't be a spring league. It'll start end of January, early February, and play through. One is not exactly a spring league.
Good.
Okay.
And we'll take our next question from Neil Best with Newsday.
Hello, Neil.
A lot of people asking questions here.
Hi, thanks for doing this. In terms of the ownership model, will it be franchised or will the league own all 8 teams? And do you have any idea what cities will be involved?
Nice.
It'll
Good
be
question.
a single entity. We're not going to have the franchise model.
He
and
owns
we're
everything, pal.
Way away from announcing cities. There's going to be a lot of research and what have you as far as cities are concerned, and that'll be something we'll announce in the future.
Like I said, this ain't going to be anything big, guys. If you were expecting big news to come out of this.
We'll take our next question from Emma Ackerman with Bloomberg News.
Hey, Vince.
Hi, Emma.
I wanted to ask, I know that data analysis and research has been a big part of expanding the WWE network. Can you explain a little bit about the research backing demand for the XFL?
That's a good question.
Yes, I'm not going to make reference to any research as relates to WWE. Again, that's a separate entity. And we'll get into the research and what have you going forward. We have done a lot of it thus far, and with more to come in terms of putting all this together.
Thank you.
These reporters are expecting big
Jackie
answers.
Waddles with CNN.
They're not going to get it.
Hello, Jackie.
Hi, Vince. Hey, so my question is about concussions and CTE. Obviously, this is a huge point of concern with the NFL right now, and also is getting attention among fans and the general public.
Right.
Do you have any plans or specific ideas about how you're going to keep players safe?
Sure. Reimagining the game of football means you're reimagining it on all levels, as well as safety, and that's what we'll do. And to make this a safe environment, as safe as possible, it's still football, but to make it as safe as possible.
Any specific measures that you can say?
No, not anything specifically other than, we're going to bring in experts who are going to help us in all these fields. And as I mentioned many times in my remarks, listening. We're going to listen to those medical experts and heed their advice, again, to make it as safe as possible.
And we'll take our next question from Tom Krasovic with the San Diego Union Tribune.
San Diego Union Tribune, wow.
Hi, will President Trump support this?
Oh, here we go. He scoffs at it already. He's scoffing at it already.
With statements, and can you speak to San Diego as a potential market?
I have no idea whether or not President Trump will support this, and this is an opportunity for me to say that as far as our league is concerned, it'll have nothing to do with politics. Absolutely nothing, and nothing to do with social issues either.
Thank you.
We're there to play football.
We
want really good football, and I think that's what fans want as well. When they tune in, I don't know that they want to be dealing with political issues and things of that nature.
We watch football. We watch sports entertainment to escape.
And as far as San Diego is concerned,
San Diego is a potential market?
We don't know yet.
Saying the right things, folks. I got to hand it to Vince here.
And we'll take our next question from John Lafayette with BNC.
Hello, John.
My apologies. It's Richard Deitch with Sports Illustrated.
Okay. Let's go to Richard.
Vince, why are you not concerned with there being oversaturation of football as a product, from the NFL to college football to the CFL to the Arena League?
Well, again, I think there's 7 months in which there is no football on the gridiron, and I think the demand is there. I think as well the quality of the play. This is going to be a different game, a fan-centric game. It will be faster, and it'll just be a better football game than what everyone else is accustomed to. So I think we're going to make our own demand.
And next we'll go to John Lafayette with BNC.
Hello, John.
Hi there. I think we tried it before. How are you going to keep players? You talked a little bit about keeping politics out of this game. Are you going to suspend players if they have political opinions? Is there going to be no free speech?
Well, I think this. You know the rules and regulations, as I mentioned. You're going to have. There'll be a booklet. There'll be whatever it is we can do to make sure that all the players understand the rules, as well as everyone else. We intend for everyone to abide by those rules as far as the national anthem is concerned, which may be where you're going now. I think this. The national anthem is a time-honored tradition that's played
that's a classic
to this day
Vinceism.
and many, many years in the past prior to most athletic events in our country and in other countries. So whatever our rules are is what everyone will abide by. There's plenty of opportunity and plenty of ways in which players, coaches, members of the media can express yourselves in terms of your own personal views as far as social aspects are concerned, whether or not it's Twitter or Facebook or whatever. But again, we're here to play football. When we come onto the field, we're here to play football. That's everyone's job.
I want to thank you guys for watching. Please hit that like button and, more importantly, subscribe.
With the Orlando Sentinel.
Hello, Roger.
Hi, Vince. Could you tell us, basically, do you have in your mind a criteria for the type of cities you're looking for? I mean, are you looking for cities that maybe don't have existing NFL franchises, so facilities are available?
That's not necessarily one of the criteria. I think that we're going to go where fans want us to go, wherever there's more interest. And, of course, there are a lot of other factors, Roger, in terms of choosing a city, but we're nowhere near that right now.
Okay, thank you.
We'll take our next question from John Shumley with KDKA TV Pittsburgh.
Hello, John.
Vince, let me follow up on the previous question, and that is facilities. Are you going to be targeting places that already have existing NFL-type facilities, i.e. NFL cities?
He just answered that.
Without a doubt. You want to play football where football is played, in stadiums. There may be a situation where we may play a baseball stadium or something like that if the football stadium is not available in that market. But nonetheless, the intent is to play most specifically where a lot of the other NFL teams play.
You could do arenas, too.
Is Pittsburgh on your radar?
Every city, I love Pittsburgh, but every city is on our radar.
Thank you.
As a reminder, it's *1 for any questions. We'll take our next question from John Healy with the New York Daily News.
Notice you're not taking any wrestling guys on this one.
Hi,
that's a shocker.
You said you want to make the game safe, but you also want to make it faster. Is this an attempt to try and bring back any bigger hits? I mean, how are you going to make that possible if it's going to be a faster game?
Well, again, I think that there may not be a halftime for one example. I think that we're going to listen to football experts. They're going to be able to tell us the intent is to make it a much faster game. Sitting and watching a 3.5 hour game is laborious sometimes. Sometimes it's not, depending upon the quality of the
I think
play.
they maybe need to shorten halftime. I don't know if they need to make it
a much faster game. We're going to try to get to 2 hours. That's our goal. And that's an experience I think that most people would enjoy.
Chicken Power in the chat room says not arenas. Who knows? I honestly, Vince knows how to pack an arena.
From Steve Feidel with the Asbury Park Press.
Hey, Steve.
It's what he's good at.
Hey, Vince. Obviously, the XFL was in the headlines last year when the ESPN documentary came out early in the year. Did that reaction to that play into this decision at all?
No, we've been thinking about doing the XFL for many, many years. I do think Charlie Ebersol did a great job capturing the interest and the appreciation for each other that Dick Ebersol and I have had and have today. He's a wonderful human being, and we had a blast together in the old XFL.
Did you have any thoughts to giving it a different name this time around?
We did, but we kept coming back to the equity of the XFL from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah, in other words,
already there.
We already own the trademark.
We think it's a cool name.
Thanks, Vince.
That's business. That's business 101. We already own the trademark.
As a reminder, it is *1 for questions over the phone. Take our next question from Neil Docking with the Daily Mirror.
To everybody's watching,
Hello,
please
Neil.
hit that like button and
Good
subscribe
evening,
for more content such
Good
as
evening.
this.
Hi. You mentioned there's no TV partner as of yet. Will you be looking to have a social media streaming component? And are you exploring broadcasting the product internationally, such as in the UK, where there's a growing audience?
Yes, I think,
says, I hope
again,
Bakersfield
all
has a
options
team.
are available to us, and I think that's something that was never there before. We can do any number of things, or a combination of things as well, in terms of traditional platforms as well as digital and what have you. So there are many options that are available to us that weren't before. And again, by simplifying the rules, I think it makes it certainly it makes the XFL more global friendly environment.
He's right. Glad that
We'll
there's
take our
no
next question from Tony
politics and
Maglio
crap
from
in
The
this.
Wrap.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Vince. Two questions for you. One's just a clarification. My first question is, will you allow nicknames on the back of jerseys again, a la He Hate Me? And number two, because you mentioned the
Please say yes to
national
that.
anthem thing, just to clarify, will it be in the rules that the players must stand for the national anthem?
Well, first question, I'm not sure about the individuality of the He Hate Me. We're not there yet. But
come
it's amazing
on.
that people remember that. Rod Smart, the player at He Hate Me, that was extraordinary. Whether or not we do that or not, though, is, again, we're going to listen to football experts, and we're going to listen to what the audience, what fans want, more than anything else. I'm going to be listening to you guys as well in terms of what you think is going to be appropriate. As far as the national anthem is concerned, I think, again, it's a time-honored tradition to stand and appreciate the national anthem with any sport here in America, or for that matter, in any country, they do that. So I think it'd be appropriate to do that.
We'll take our next question from Ryan Woolley with News Radio 950.
Hello, Ryan.
Hey, Vince, how are you? Quick question for you. So you mentioned about streaming the games and the broadcast networks. Is there a specific network you're looking to place it on? And then what about a broadcast?
He's going to NBC, if anything.
Local guys, how is that going to work?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not.
That's all to be determined. I think there's interest with everyone. There's interest in traditional networks. There's interest, in a lot of areas. And again, you can have a different feed, a different customized feed for basically anyone, any demographic. And I think by doing that, you can appeal to the older audience, the traditional audience, I should say, and a younger audience as well.
Somebody goes, the XFL is going to be on YouTube Red.
What they want and how they want it. I think it makes it far more
The
interesting.
nicknames should come back. The nicknames absolutely should come back.
About the teams, I know you said that you're still looking at cities to place the teams in. Will we see retaining teams coming back as far as team names, or would everything be all new?
I think everything would be all new, but if there's something from the past you want to bring forward, we're not constrained not to do that. So
Bring back the Hitmen.
I think it's all new, generally speaking. We're reimagining the XFL as well.
I'll take our next question from Jimmy Traina from SI.com.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hi, Vince. How you doing? Will any invites be extended to players like Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow, Colin Kaepernick?
Well, I think this, that one of the things when I said the quality of human being is very important and just as important as the quality of the player, what I mean by that is you want someone who does not have any criminality whatsoever associated with
There you go.
And in the XFL, even if you have a DUI, you will not play in the XFL. So that would probably eliminate some of them.
That's a good,
not
that's
all
a good
of them.
point.
If Tim Tebow wants to play, he could very well play.
Smart. That's smart. All yous watching, please be sure to hit the subscribe button for more content such as this. We cover everything from, as you can see here, entertainment ventures.
Take our next question from Rob
to
Wooler
pro
with
wrestling
AFD.
to
Rob.
Everything in between.
Hi, Vince.
Hence why it's called From Pillar to Post.
Hi, Vince.
Okay.
Hello.
Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, ditch him. He's gone.
Hi, Vince. I just wanted to ask you, could you clarify on the players that will be allowed to play in the league? So, would Colin Kaepernick be welcome in the league?
Again, I think anyone who plays the game of football well and meets our criteria in terms of the quality of the human being as well as the player, why not? As long as everyone abides by the rules as laid down.
And just to follow up on those rules, just want to be absolutely clear I understood you correctly. You're saying it would be mandatory for players to stand during playing.
Oh my God! Why is everybody so focused about this national
there are going to be a lot of rules and
shit?
regulations, and all of which
Do
are
I
going to be
watch
out
Lucha
there for
Underground?
everyone.
I watched season 1
you're
and
gonna
then I
know
was like,
them before you sign on to XFL. So I would imagine that anyone who signs on is going to abide by those rules.
Okay.
Enough with the fucking kneeling questions,
We'll
please.
take our next question from Jim Varsalone with the Miami Herald.
Hello, Jim.
I do. The most
Has there been any
prominent.
thought yet? I know it's very early in the process here with broadcasting. I recall the last time Jim Ross, I think Mike Adamle, Jesse Ventura were some of the broadcasters. Do you know if there might even be a crossover of wrestling broadcasters
He just
and
said no.
football broadcasters?
No, there'll be no crossover whatsoever.
The main thing we cover here is pro wrestling, such as WWE.
And
We
we'll take our
sometimes
final
cover some
question from
TNA.
Justin Morasso.
We also do the
Hello,
official,
Justin.
unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show every Wednesday at 10:30 Eastern
An
live.
integral part of the XFL is Vince McMahon, and you've been underestimated since day one, selling paper goods before the Capital Wrestling, then with World Wrestling Federation. But I mean, there's arguably no better promoter in the world than you. As a competitor, can you kind of walk us through what drives you about this process? I think sometimes, obviously, we're interested in the football and we want to invest in that. But I think so much of the importance is the man running it. Can fans take faith in knowing that you, even at 72, can outwork Roger Goodell and reimagine the game of football?
I think that I'm going to hire professionals and people who really know what they're doing, and I'm going to take a backseat to all of that. I'm not going to be out front.
And your wife, Linda, she's got some connective tissue to football. One of her clients, once upon a time at Covington Berlin, was Vince Lombardi. So often in life, Vince McMahon gets the credit, but Linda McMahon was such a
Dylan, you're
part of the
absolutely
process.
right.
Did you seek her opinion on this
I'll
decision?
explain that here in a minute. I
No.
really will get into that here in a minute.
And my last question, beg you. Someone once called the NFL the no-fun league. Will there be specific differences on the field between the XFL and NFL?
I think there'll be a lot of differences, and again, the biggest difference is what the audience, what football fans want. We're going to do everything possible to give them what they want. And I thank you all for joining us today, and I'm sure going to be a lot more questions, and we're going to be asking a lot more questions and listening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us.
I think that's it. So they went about a half an hour.
This is the future. This is not the past.
This is the future, and the future moves fast. This is quicker, simpler, rules, reform. This is your game, safer. This is football, reborn. This is gaming and fantasy. This is padded, roulette. Make a trade, make a team, make a move, make a bet. This is fans above all. This is maximum action. Let's stall, more ball, fewer infractions. This begins in 2020. The future is near. More access, more everyone, more everything here. This is our moment, our story to tell. This is history begun. This is the XFL.
Now, here's the thing about the kneeling thing that kills me. Thank you guys so much for watching, by the way. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Oh, there's all their social media stuff. XFL 2020 is their official Twitter. Go follow that. But here's the thing about the kneeling that gets me, guys. And I'm not a traditional football fan. I barely watch maybe 1 or 2 games a year plus the Super Bowl. But I did like the XFL. I love the XFL. Despite that Week 2 snafu, the quality of football got better. I like the no fair catch thing, and I hope that makes a comeback. I will also say the kneeling thing. Again, like I said at the beginning of the show, when I go to watch a football game and there is, and when I go to watch a football game and there is a 2-hour pregame show, and an hour and a half of those 2 hours is talking about how players are kneeling and not kneeling and coming out of the locker room for the anthem and not coming out of the... What does that have to do with the game? What does that have to do? Colin Kaepernick. He kneels, he doesn't kneel. Does that have anything to do with his ability to play football? They mentioned in that video package, make a bet. Okay, so we're going to be betting our money on this football. I could care less if he kneels, doesn't kneel, as long as he makes me money from a bettor's point of view. So I just think about that. And Vince is like, the time-honored tradition of kneeling or standing up at the national anthem. I don't have an opinion on that one way or another because it has nothing to do with the game. And if he writes it in, when do you think they will announce the cities that get a team? I don't look for that for at least... man. You know what I would say? I would say we probably will not get another announcement period from this for about 6 months. If that. Right before maybe right before the next NFL season starts in 2018 in September, we'll get something. But as far as cities go, I think we're at least a year off. At least. Maybe less. Because they got to get the locker rooms ready. They got to sign deals with stadiums. You're going to get cities and announcements about what cities are getting teams before we get player announcements. That's for sure. And he specifically said, if you have the words out of his mouth were, if you have so much as a DUI, you will not be playing for us. Which I think is good. Because he doesn't want that crap clouding the damn football. I think he's going to hire announcers and everything like that won't talk about who's kneeling and who's not kneeling for an hour and a half of his time. Vince, if he does do regardless of what platform he launches it on, it's going to cost money to produce. So he's not going to spend his hard-earned money on an hour and a half discussion of who's kneeling and who's not kneeling. So it's going to be interesting to see what all comes of this. Let me see if their official Twitter page has anything. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Hit that subscribe button, please. More importantly, give this a like. So, ladies and gentlemen, I really want to thank you guys for watching and listening to this. Let's see here. XFL 2020. Let me see what their official Twitter page here has. They're not verified yet. That's a shocker. And the only thing that they have up there is the announcement. They've already got 28 followers that I know, or 7,000 followers total. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you could do so. I'm at Joe Pillar to Post. Again, this channel does more than just the XFL. It looks like we may cover the XFL this go around in the news leading up to it. But we also cover pro wrestling. We also cover movie entertainment news. No, we don't get into who's sleeping who. We cover pretty much movie news. We're not at Entertainment Tonight or Access Hollywood. I will say that the timing of this is perfect. You know, it's right before the Super Bowl. You know, it's right after we found out who's playing in the Super Bowl. So San Diego gets a team. Yeah, San Diego should get a team. I think that we will see. I think that we will see. You know, Las Vegas will definitely probably get a team. They just, you know, who knows? I assume a team in Florida is going to get a team. You'll have, you know, your major cities. The St. Louis getting a team, maybe.
I come to see a man get his ass whipped.
Thank you, Ebony Hall, for subscribing. I really appreciate that. If you'd like to subscribe, go ahead and please do so and give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate all those who tuned in for this. We had we had like at least 50 people watching at once, which is crazy. So thank you. I am trying to get this channel to grow. The reason why I asked is because it's too political and it's causing problems. Cleveland Browns had to give refunds to 90% of their season ticket holders because of it. Yeah, that's nuts, man. It shouldn't be about that. And I'm talking from a fan's point of view. As a fan, you watch the NFL, you watch football, I watch wrestling, I watch, you know, movies or whatever to escape that. We watch wrestling, we watch football to entertainment to escape all this crap. It shouldn't be bleeding in. It shouldn't be bleeding in from a player's aspect of it. It shouldn't be bleeding in from the media, and it shouldn't be bleeding in from the fans. Now Las Vegas already getting the Raiders. It doesn't matter. I mean, unless the Raiders have a contract that says no, you can't. You know, that's another thing. Is the NFL going to start having contracts with these cities and owners and everything? Going, don't you dare let the XFL into your city. I don't think that. In regards to what the NFL thinks about all this, I don't think they care. It's just not even a flea on their backside at this point. I think he said there was going to be 10 teams. And they about 10 games before. I said they were going to cut it from 16 weeks to 12 weeks, and I think that's what they're going with. Let me see here. Let me see if ESPN has anything up here. McMahon, gimmick-free XFL to return in 2020. That's ESPN's headline of it all. Its first season will have 8 teams around the country, a 10-week schedule. The initial outlay of money is expected to be around $100 million, the same amount of WWE stock that Vince McMahon sold last month and funneled into Alpha Entertainment. This WWE's dead. Sacramento, maybe. Toronto. I do think you'll see at least one Canadian team. I think you'll see at least one Canadian team out of all this, and it'll probably be Toronto. Somebody in this story, I wanted to do this since the day we stopped the other one. McMahon told ESPN in an exclusive interview, a chance to do it with no partners, strictly funded by me. Here's the thing. McMahon never wanted the XFL to stop in the first place. He wanted a second season. It's just everybody from, you know, NBC pulling out and Dick Ebersol pulling out was the reason why it didn't get a second season. The games will be faster. The ideal running time said would be 2 hours. The halftime thing concerns me. The halftime thing is that the reason why there is a halftime is so players can kind of regroup in the locker room, take a little bit of a rest their muscles, rest their bones, so to speak, rest their minds, and you know, if you take that away, you're gonna burn out your players quick from a performance aspect of it. If you take away that halftime, your second half is going to be horrible because your players are just going to blow up. You know, even though they're well-trained athletes, they're not meant for that. It's just, sorry, you need a halftime in there. Do I think you need a long halftime, because I believe a halftime is just as long as a quarter of football, 15 minutes. I don't know if you need that, but maybe shorten it down to 10. It looked like they were trying to launch it. For those of you who are fans of fantasy football, they really pushed fantasy football ahead of that in that promo package. So who knows what we'll see. Is WWE dead, yes or no? No. WWE's not dead. I don't think WWE. This means WWE dead. You know, no bathroom break, says Chicken Power. I don't think WWE's going to suffer from this at all. I do find it interesting how McMahon is like, I'm going to step away. I'm not going to be the forefront. So, is he going to hire a commissioner? Is he going to hire somebody to handle day-to-day operations, and he's just going to be rich Uncle Pennybags, and you know. Is he going to just sit back and collect, so to speak, or sit back and pay? Maybe. One would certainly hope so. The fact that he said no WWE crossover at all, oh man, that put my mind. If he goes through with that, it puts my mind at ease a lot. And he did say that here's the rules. We're going to have a rule book, and as long as you're playing football in that stadium for us, you're going to follow these rules, and rightfully so. You go to a job, and a job every day tells you that, hey, you got to come in here every day and salute the boss. Okay, you have two options. Either if you want a paycheck and you want to continue to work for that company, and you desired enough to work for that company, you're going to come in there every day and you're going to salute the boss. Or you're not going to be a part of the company. You're not going to work there. You're not going to have a job. It's that simple. Corey J. in the chat room says, Jamarcus Russell, this is your chance. Kelly and Charles Mellis says, XFL is going to be great. Do you think it's fair not to let anyone that has a criminal record in? I think that we will see a revamp to that statement. I think it'll depend on a case-by-case basis how bad the criminal record is. Am I going to predict NXT TakeOver? I will have an NXT TakeOver prediction video going up probably tomorrow. Me, personally, I don't think you should let anybody with a criminal record in. You know,
I come to see a man get his ass whipped.
Thank you, Juan Elman, for subscribing. We really much appreciate that here on the channel. Thank you so much. I will be honest with you guys. When it comes to football, I'm not an expert. Thank you for subscribing. Somebody just asked me about the Daytona 500. Do I watch racing? Yes, I do watch NASCAR. I am excited for the Daytona 500 coming up in a couple weeks. My boy Martin Truex Jr. swept it last year, so who knows what's going to happen this year. As far as the criminal record thing, going back to that, it's a touchy situation. I think if you have a felony record, it does paint a bad image. It does. Would you want your kids looking up to a guy and going, I'm going to be a football player just like Jim Smith? Well, let me look at this Jim Smith. Let me go on the internet. Look up Jim. Oh, damn, Jim Smith has a criminal record, son. Are you sure you want to? I want to be just like Jim Smith. I got an 8-year-old kid. I don't know if I want him looking up to Jim Smith. I don't care how many touchdowns he scores. Can somebody be redeemed down the line? Yes. But if Jim Smith just got arrested for a DUI...
I come to see a man get his ass whipped.
There we go. Thank you for subscribing. Cookie Kid on Fire. These names, man. I want McDowell to win it. They got a lot of young guys coming in as far as NASCAR goes this year. They got a lot of young guys. I haven't been keeping up as much in the offseason. I do know that the Monster Energy executive just got into some hot water, and that doesn't look good for NASCAR, seeing as how they just started the Monster thing. Corey J says their best chance of succeeding is to allow anyone who doesn't have a violent crime conviction. You're right. Anybody who has like domestic violence or assault charges, no, you're gone. You're gone. Sexual assault, all that, gone. We don't need it. We don't want it. Me as a fan, I don't want it. I don't want to have to worry about it. Why? Because it's again going to leak into the damn news, and it's going to ruin the football. Vince McMahon say he's going to run the whole thing. He said he's going to be the figurehead, but you will not see him out front in front of the media as much. He said probably this is the last time you'll see somebody. I think this won't be the last time you see him. I think he'll be the one to introduce the new commissioner, and the commissioner will go forward. But McMahon is definitely pulling the strings behind the scenes as far as where the money goes. Let's not be naive about that. McMahon is running the thing, but he's not. I think he's smart enough to know, hey, I don't need to be the figurehead here. And I don't think he's going to be running it from day to day. I think you'll see, as far as the face of it, I think you'll see somebody else pretty much being the face of the league, like the Roger Goodell or whatever figure, whatever the case may be. I did find it funny how he said there's no franchising. He doesn't want to get involved with that crap. Again, he's trying to keep it simple. The no crossover thing really, that right there really has me, the only person I think that would be qualified to come in and run, to cross over, if you will, is Jim Ross. And to tell you the truth, if Jim Ross's wrestling commentary as of late has anything to do, has any say in the matter, I haven't been enjoying it. So, who knows? So, yeah, please feel free to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, everybody who's watching here. Again, we cover video games, we cover movie reviews. The most prominent show that we do is what's called the unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show. If you're not familiar with CWF Mid-Atlantic, please go to CWFworldwide.com and check them out. They're a wrestling promotion out of Gibsonville, North Carolina, wanting you to believe again as they give you a very good product. Go check it out. You will not be disappointed. It's nothing like WWE. If you're a fan of pro wrestling and you're familiar with the name Trevor Lee, and you're not familiar with his work in CWF Mid-Atlantic, which is his home promotion, you're missing out. He should have had the less TV commercials put toward WWE. It's like 5 minutes of WWE and 10 minutes of ads. You're absolutely right on that. But here's the thing. There's been rumors also of, this is Classic Intermediate Wrestling. Greetings from the city of Hammond. Hello, Classic Intermediate Wrestling from Hammond, Indiana. Thank you for subscribing, Kelly and Charles. I really appreciate that. I'm just reminding new people that may or may not be on the channel here. Can't be anything like the old XFL. Has to be brand new, and hopefully they could find some good commentators. Yeah, I mean, it can't be nothing. You can't let that stain come back. As far as the commercials go, I think you'll see a lot more picture-in-picture things. TV timeouts are going to go away. That's the first thing they should do. No more TV timeouts. Do the picture-in-picture thing, kind of like what they've been doing with SmackDown, and NASCAR does the NASCAR nonstop, where you really don't miss a lap. Do that. Do we need to have commentary on every play? No, we can see what's going on for ourselves. It's a good way to give the commentators a rest. But this is very, very interesting here from Vince McMahon today. I'm surprised he took media questions at all. Of course, 90% of them were about that kneeling bullcrap. I just don't get it. I don't get why. I get why the players do it, because they think it's making some kind of statement. They think it's getting them noticed. And all it's doing is it pissed off the NFL is what it did. And it pissed off the viewers because it's politics bleeding into their football. And they watch football to escape all that. If I wanted to talk about politics and look at people making statements, I'd turn on the news, turn on CNN. I don't want to turn on sports. Did you watch Raw 25 on Monday? I watched Raw 25 in Hammond, Indiana. I did watch Raw 25 on Monday, and I was disappointed by Raw 25 on Monday. I did a whole Raw 25 post-game show that you can see right here in the archives on this channel. I don't do a Raw post-game show every single Monday, although I think I may bring it back. But thank you for asking. Yeah, I was disappointed in Raw 25. That's another thing. Vince says, it will not impact my WWE duties whatsoever. Here's the thing, guys. Vince McMahon is looking to sell the WWE. There's been rumors going rampant that WWE is looking to sell to Fox. I I don't think Fox is going to buy the promotion. I do think maybe the TV will end up there because Fox is yearning for program now that they've sold most of their assets to Disney. They need a jump in the arm if they're going to start making money again. Do I think McMahon should go to Fox? Do I think it'll happen? I did a video about that here on the channel a couple of days ago. So be sure to check that out as well and let me know what you think in the comments below. Somebody here, no fair catches, making a comeback. I don't like the fair catches anyway. I agree. I don't like the fair catch rule. Get in there and get your ass tackled. It's a game of hitting. McMahon also said he would preclude any player with a criminal record, which would disqualify Johnny Manziel. We're evaluating a player based on many things, including quality of human being they are. Can we get an early prediction on cities? New York, New Jersey will have like that New York, New Jersey shared thing. McMahon, there's no way McMahon's not putting a team in New York, and there's no way McMahon's not putting a team in California. As far as other teams, Las Vegas, I still think even with the Raiders going there, Las Vegas will get a team. Oakland is now begging for a team since they lost the Raiders, apparently, so who knows? Or San Diego, I think, somebody mentioned in the chat, San Diego. I think Toronto, Canada will get a team. As terms of broadcasting, you got the WWE Network, and WWE uses the same people who do the MLB Network for their servers. So, I'm from a place called Danville, Virginia. So, I as far as broadcasting goes, will we see an XFL app? Possibly. I do think that the key to this is getting on network television. The problem is, are the networks willing to bite given the XFL's past? I don't know. That's a very, 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 very tough obstacle to overcome. It's not going to be NBC. I don't think it'll be NBC. Because if they go back on NBC, it just puts again, that stain rises to the surface. I think Fox maybe would cover it in the off season. As far as he said, it's not a spring league; it's going to be starting in February. So I look forward to maybe start 1 or 2 weeks. And once 2020 hits, it's probably going to start maybe 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, which would be amazing. Have one season start and one stop. Orlando getting a team, yeah. I'll put it to you this way: there is some relationships that Vince McMahon has built with these cities. As far as getting WrestleMania in there, and Orlando's been a prominent one. So Orlando could possibly get a team. I would maybe say give maybe like somewhere in Texas a team, like Austin, Texas. Austin is a great city for art and sports and everything like that. Why not have Austin, Texas as a football team? You don't need to go somewhere heavy like Dallas or Houston. But again, you also have to go where stadiums are. And I say, as far as stadiums go, there's nothing wrong with arenas, but he wants to pack these stadiums. He wants to get 30, 40, 50,000 people in a stadium. Arenas are lucky if they hold 20 or 30. Show the XFL and UPN and TNN. TNN no longer exists. UPN no longer exists. UPN is now the CW. TNN just went through another change, as a matter of fact. They're no longer Spike. They're the Paramount Network now. So I don't know if they would want to get into the sports game. They are showing Bellator, MMA. So why not get into the football? Why not get into some football? That's going to wrap it up here for me today, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button. My next show that I do live, if you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so that you're notified, again, I'm probably going to do some Royal Rumble and NXT predictions. Have you heard of Fire Pro Wrestling? If not, Fire Pro Wrestling is the best company in Indiana. I've heard of Fire Pro Wrestling, the video game, but their shows were at the Impact Christian Church. I'm sorry, I could never. Is there something about holding a wrestling event in the basement of a church that scares the daylights out of me? I just don't know why. Especially with the wrestling I've been watching, But again, My next show will probably be Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever the case may be, doing a prediction video for the Royal Rumble and NXT. Again, the predominant show on this channel is the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show. We do it as it's kind of like the Talking Dead of CWF. Once you watch CWF Worldwide at 9 p.m. on their YouTube channel, which is cwfworldwide.com, you come on over to my channel at 10:30. We discuss the episodes. Last night we did an episode, and one of the CWF wrestlers, Ethan Alexander Sharp, called in and gave us his 2 cents. If you've been watching the wrestling news websites lately, you may have seen CWF in the news lately for some for some circumstances which I won't go into here, but I will tell you that the promotion is continuing to thrive. Last night's episode of Worldwide was good. Go and check it out, and then check out the after show if you'd like. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share our content if you will, please, and we will see you down the road.